Welcome back to the Urban Flow Network. What are we about over here? Why do I make content over here? As I said before, I say it again, man, I care about the tempo of the people. I'm talking about our people in America. I'm talking about African American people in America. I care about the tempo. I care about the condition. I care about the mentality. I care about the future, the longevity, etc., of our people in America. All right. So, what am I here to talk about? Man, I'm here to talk about an answer. I'm here to answer a question that was asked by a a YouTuber by the name of Chloe. All right. Chloe underscore. Okay. She asked an incredible question, right? Why and it relates to my last video, which of course covered Sade Robinson, okay, and her death and the drama, etc., and the divestment community and the context of that whole murder as it relates to interracial relationships. Okay. But this is something that I'm gonna cover not just from a perspective of Black women towards non-Black men, but also Black men towards non-Black women. And the question that she asked, very important question that we're going to examine today, is why do so many Black women drop their standards when dealing with non-Black men, especially in particular the white man? And the same can be true for Black men. Why do so many Black men essentially lose their standards, or in some instances, drop their standards when it comes to dealing with non-Black women? That was her question, but we're going to take it to an even deeper level of conversation. So obviously, all people who are dealing with people of other races are not lowering their standards. But the heart of her question is why, and this is the question, why do we as Black people make it so easy? Why is it that we treat dealing with people of other races as a target, as like this accomplishment when you have gotten out of your own race? This is the crux of what I'm here to talk about. Why it's celebrated so much and damn near revered in the Black community for a person to deal with a person of another race. Can we talk about it? Now, first of all, let me say this. Hey, if you are involved in an interracial relationship, a marriage, etc., listen, this is not an attack on you. This is not meant to be an attack on you. This is the purposes of this video is to show the people, okay? Show the people why we make some of the decisions that we make. See, because this is the thing that I realize about human beings, is that human behavior is oftentimes dictated by subconscious thoughts that are not always readily conscious or readily known to the individual. And it only becomes known when certain questions are asked or certain situations or circumstances arise. Okay. That is when you come to see that, yo, subconsciously, this person may have some level of bias, okay, against said group of people or against said situation. Or it may not be against, it may be that someone is in favor of a particular situation based on some other level of bias. That is also a possibility as well, too. Now, one thing I want to ask y'all to do, I'm going to encourage you as well, too. Again, Urban Flow Network, stick around to the very end of this video because I'm going to be showing you guys 18 Black museums across the United States of America that you need to visit, okay? 18 of them. I'm going to be covering that at the very end. So I'm going to talk about this, right? Why do Black people basically celebrate interracial relationships the way that they do? Why is it looked at as a target for a lot of people? Okay, you talked about, or we've heard from the Black female community. We already have the divestment community. Then they got the Pasta and Lobster group. They got the Vanilla Frap or whatever the hell it's called. Like we got all these terminologies that we putting on getting out of your own community. Okay. So let's talk about it. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I believe, okay? Again, because I'm not a Black woman or whatever like that, but I could tell you I can diagnose the psyche of certain Black people, and this is what I'm going to talk about today. So listen, number one reason is because Black people. Here it is, family. Here it is, family. Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. And if you don't love it, you're gonna love to hate it. Boy, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something, man. Black people, wow. The negative racial complexes that a lot of Black people carry within them is the number one reason, in my opinion, why Black people gravitate towards interracial relationships. Somebody talk to me. Because what? They say misery loves company, right? But what type of company would a miserable person want? A miserable person wants the company of someone who is not miserable. Do you hear me? In other words, a person who grows up with a negative complex about their own race wants to be in the company of somebody who doesn't. And I'm going to prove what I just said to you about this negative racial complex that a lot of Black people grow up with as a matter of fact, not what I feel, but as a matter of fact. Let's get right into it. And I'm going to go ahead and show y'all Exhibit A. Okay. I'm talking about Exhibit A. Let's go ahead and go to this. Ooh, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be, this is going to be jarring. I hope y'all ready. I hope you're ready. Let's get it. All right, check this out, y'all. We're going to see the doll test. Oh, yes, the doll test. If you're not familiar with it, the doll test is a test that has been given historically to people, to kids, wherein they are asked questions about a Black doll and a white doll, or sometimes it can be a Black image or a white image. And they're going to ask them questions. Which one is good? Which one is bad? Which one is pretty? Which one is ugly? Which one is good? Or which one is clean? Which one is dirty? And before I show you this little white girl and her expression, I'm going to show y'all first the expression of little Black girls and little Black boys. Can we talk about it? Let me go ahead and go on ahead and full screen this out so we can get this righteously. Hold up. Yeah, we're going in today. Buckle your seatbelts. Grab your popcorn because it's going up. Let's get it.
I decided to reconduct this test as Dr. Clark did, see how we've progressed since then. Can you show me the doll that you like best or that you'd like to play with? I like that one.
Did you notice that they put the Black doll? It was like, man, maybe it's a left-right thing. So let's mix it up. Let's put the Black doll on the right and the white doll on the left and see if we can get some different results. Results are the same. Who you want to play with? Who do you want? Who do you want to be your friend? Who do you want to be your friend? This little Black girl or this little white girl? We're going to continue. Hold up. I got a Black boy with a Black doll. See, the Black boy grabbed a Black doll. All right now. Good for him.
That one? I like to play with this.
Oh, praise God, girl. You see how she got her hand on her face? Now, that's how you know this girl is thinking deep. She's thinking about this question like, hold up. I think you got me twisted right now. I think you trying to play with me right now. See, God done blessed her with some type of wisdom. She look at her expression. You could tell a lot more is going on in her brain than what was going on in the brains of other kids. And that's just, if you disagree, please tell me how and why, because this is a fact. Look at her face. She got discernment, and that's why I said praise God. Continue.
And can you show me the doll that is the nice doll?
If y'all didn't hear that, she said, show me the doll that is the nice doll. Who is the nice doll? Who's the nice doll?
And why is that the nice doll? She's white.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Who is the nice doll? Why is he nice? He nice because he white. And that boy's smiling. And he's African American. We're going to continue on.
And can you show me the doll that looks bad? Okay.
Oh, that was, look, no hesitation. Show me the doll who's bad. Shh, it's Black one.
And can you and why does that look bad? Because it's black. And why do you think that's a nice doll? Because she's white.
When I talk about bias and brainwashing and negative racial complexes from a very early age, this is what I'm talking about. We're going to continue on. This is what I'm talking about. Do you guys, so here's the question. Do you think that this just goes away? Do we think that this thinking magically just disappears from the mind of this person? Because even though she's a little girl, she's a toddler, if you will, or whatever you want to call them, a TK, whatever you want to call them, she's still a person. So do you think that these subconscious or these at this point, you know, it's just a conscious thought that she's having, but do you think that this bias goes away when she becomes an adult? This is a question I have for you. This is proof, and we're going to get into more of this. This is proof that Black people prefer whiteness, white people. So when Chloe asked the question, why do Black women, why are they lowering their standards for these, you know, these Caucasian people or these non-Black people? Why is it treated like a target? Why do they act like this is somehow a level up or an upgrade to your whole life when you can be in the omnipotent presence of a white person? Chloe, here it is. This is a psychological problem that's been in Black folks and people all over the world, not just Black, for a long time. But it's saddest to see it in Black children. But we are not immune. And I've said it videos, many videos ago. The bug of racism and anti-Blackness that has existed, that we've seen exist, at least in America, but of course it was before then, but in America since its inception, is Black people themselves are not immune to that. Black people are not immune to that bug. And this is the proof. This is the proof. Let's continue.
And can you give me the doll that looks like you?
Hold up.
15 out of the 21 children preferred the white doll.
And the Black girl said, look, which doll look like you? Damn, it's the Black one. Now imagine what's going on in her brain. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Give me that full screen. Let's get it. Now we're going to, the same question is going to be asked by a little white girl. Okay.
So show me the smart child. Okay, why is she the smart child?
Because she looks like me.
Okay.
Now, did you notice her answer? She said, why is this child smart? The girl said, because it looks like me. She ain't say, oh, because she white. She said, this child is smart because it looks like me. In other words, I'm smart. So you look like me, then that means that you're smart. Because I know I'm smart. What does that reveal? That reveals that that little girl have a healthy sense of self-worth, right? That she's like believes that she's smart. And as a little girl, like, you know, you got to watch your ego. You always got to keep your ego in check. But I would much rather see her have a healthy viewpoint on that end than for her to be like, yo, like, I'm terrible, I'm dumb or something like that. No, it's okay to be smart and acknowledge that and see smartness in things that reflect you, to see smartness in your own reflection and what looks like you.
Okay. Show me the mean child. Okay, why is she the mean child?
Because she's way darker.
Okay.
Now she switched it up a little bit, right? Why is that a mean child? Because she's darker. So she's basically saying, look, I associate myself with being smart and nice. This is who I am, right? This is what she believed. Now the lady gonna say, well, which one is mean or which one is something else? Which one is bad or whatever? It's this Black one. It's the opposite of me because I'm not these things. But could there be some level of racism in that? Of course there is, of course. But the moral of the story is she's associating something that looks far from her with the negative opposite characteristic of what she believes that she is.
Show me the good child. Why is she the good child?
Because I think she looks like me.
Okay. Show me the bad child. Why is she the bad child?
Because she's a lot darker.
Show me the ugly child. Why is she the ugly child?
Because she's like a lot darker.
What do you think?
Now, we don't care what her mama think. But again, the association of blackness and a bunch of negative things. That's a phenomenon that we've seen and an ignorance that we've seen on this planet for hundreds of years. You can go back to the curse of Ham doctrine, which was used or was a catalyst to the whole transatlantic slave trade and the continuation of it by the Christian church in America. The belief system that black skin basically is a curse, that if you're dark skinned, it's a sign that something is wrong with you. God done cursed you in a certain type of way. This is how these people think. And as I said before, that bug, that racism is not immune. Black people ain't immune to it. Nobody is immune to it. And I got one more to show y'all. This one right here is most telling, because you would expect for Americans to think this way, right? But what if I told you that people outside of America also have this viewpoint in places like Italy, if you will? I'm going to narrate over this because this is actually spoken in the Italian language. But there's going to be words on the screen, but in case you can't see or whatever the deal is, I will translate as we go, okay? So it says here, the doll test is a psychological experiment designed in the 1940s in the United States to test the degree of marginalization felt by African-American children caused by prejudice, discrimination, and racial segregation. But I want to really put that in context. I don't know who wrote that, but we have to be real. It's all of that and more. We're talking about the complete degradation of an entire group of people and a promotion in society where we say that people who are this are a permanent underclass and are not equal to people who look the opposite. Okay, so this is an issue. And in my opinion, this is also proof of the need of reparations, okay, for Black people in America, because this is a part of what you're repairing. You're repairing the damage that has been done to Black people. All right, point blank period. But let's get into this video. We have recreated this with Italian children.
Quale bambola è bianca?
So he says, which is the white doll? Asked this little boy, which is the white doll? They all know, just making sure they understand.
Quale bambola è nera?
Which is the black doll? They all point the other way.
Quale delle due?
Which doll is pretty?
Questa.
Qual è quella bella?
Which is pretty?
Qual è quella brutta?
Which is ugly? Now you notice the black boy said the black doll is pretty.
Quella bella. Qual è quella brutta?
Which one is ugly? The little Indian boy or whatever he is point to the black doll.
E qual è quella buona?
Which one is nice?
Quale è cattiva?
Which one is bad? He tired of playing games with you, sir. He tired of playing games with you. Which one is bad? That little boy put his head down. Damn it, I'm tired of this crap. He tired of playing games with you, man. Stop playing with that bright kid.
Qual è buona?
Which one is good?
Lei.
Perché è buona?
Perché ha gli occhi celesti.
So the man asked the child, why is she good? Why is she the good one? And this little girl, who looks mulatto perhaps, says because she has blue eyes. Lord, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Because she got blue eyes. Is this a sign of worship? Is this a sign of ignorance? Is this a sign that people are pre-programmed to admire Caucasian features? I remember in my biology class, my teacher telling us that blonde hair and blue eyes is actually a regressive DNA trait. It is a sign of a regression that perhaps in time won't even exist in the human genome anymore. But to a Black person who carries, and oftentimes the opposite end of that spectrum, this little child says that this girl is pretty or is good because she has those blue eyes. Ooh, can we talk about it? Let's get it.
Quale è cattiva? Perché è cattiva?
Why is the doll bad?
Perché è tutto nero.
E qual è la bambola?
And he says, why is the doll bad? The little girl said, because he's all Black. And the next question this man asks, and which doll looks like you? Asked to the little Indian boy, or whatever his race is. I'm not sure if he's Indian, but this boy.
E ti somiglia di più?
Look at his face. Look at the look on his face. He's like, yo, what did you just do to me right now? Like, what just happened right now? Like, he looked like embarrassed to be like, yo, I look like this doll that I just said was bad and ugly and all these other things. He looked like he want to cry. You think he's going to embrace the fact that he looks like this doll? Or is he going to reject it? And that rejection, is that going to be evident in certain areas of the way he lives his life? For example, where he wants to live, the people he wants to be his friends, the woman he chooses to one day marry, the places where he'll raise his own children, the things he'll teach his own children. Let's be real here. Look at her face. You see how she grimaced a little bit before she pointed? Look at this. She looked embarrassed. She looked embarrassed. She looked sad. Now imagine this white doll could talk. And this Black doll says, come with me, and this white doll says, come with me. Which one you think she going with? Let's be real. So when we start talking about, again, like I said, when we start talking about this whole notion about why Black people act the way they do around whites when it comes to relationships, family, this is case in point. Look at this girl's expression.
Quale bambola è nera?
È offeso.
That girl said, you offended me.
Tu. Perché mi hai chiamato nero?
Ooh, oh my God. Look at this.
Tu.
He asked, she says that you offended me. He says, how did I offend you? And she says, because you called me Black.
Perché mi hai chiamato nero?
Perché ti offendo?
Mi offende perché altri bambini mi hanno offeso con cattiveria.
No, io non ho usato nessuna cattiveria.
Quello mi sta guardando storto.
Do we think that these biases that, according to the study, they said even in America, 15 out of 20 preferred the white doll. So do we think that these biases just go away? And do we think that these biases show up in other areas of life, such as the way that we interact with one another, the way that we treat one another, They talk all the time about, like, okay, quote unquote, black on black crime. I'll put it a different way. They talk all the time about the high rate of divorce that black women have, specifically with black men. And black men, obviously, black men have a high rate of divorce as well. But this notion of just dividing, when you see these divestment groups and all these other things going on that are just put in place to keep black folks just divide. Just you go over here and she go over there. And you go find your way and she go find her way. And like, yo, like, think about it, family. Do the symptoms of this report show up in other areas of life? And I believe the answer to that is yes. Yes, indeed, they do. They can. And this is a thought process and a mentality that has to be broken. And how do you break that? How do you break that? You break that by having positive influences, positive role models, particularly in your own house, particularly mom and dad, right? Brother, sister, the structure of your family. But when you consider the fact that 75% of Black households that are raising children in America are championed by a single mother, when you consider that fact and you ask yourself, do we think this is going to get better? Time will tell. Time will tell. So how do you instill within yourself? How do you take a people who've had their native tongue, their native language, their culture, their native culture, all right, historically speaking, rob from them, snatch from them, right? How do you repair that? How do you fix that? Well, you have to take steps. It requires effort and action. Some of us are lucky and blessed and come from beautiful families that will teach us and show us all these things, man. But a lot of Black folks don't. A lot of Black folks don't. And so regardless if you do or didn't have that, I want to share with y'all, as I mentioned earlier, right? A part of the way that you defeat this is by examining your own history and appreciating yourself. All right, so let's talk about 18 Black museums. Okay. Celebrate Black art and learn Black history at one of these national museums. We're going to go through this quickly, all right? So connect with your history, discover different cultures, and fall in love with works of art. So, of course, the National Museum of African American Music. And if any of y'all have ever been to any of these museums, hey, do not hesitate to make a mention of it in the comment section. Let me know, what it was like. What was your thought process, or what was your thought about this location? This looks like a fantastic place. African American music, as you can see, you're going to see some iconic, great music that I hope hardly any musicians from today's age make it to. You hear me? Because you can't compare anything today to what was going on back in the day, back in the early 1900s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Yo, that's some real good music, y'all. It's tough. But yes, number one on this list, National Museum of African American Music. Number two, the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. Never heard of this place, all right? It's a Harlem jewel that has over 1,000 collections and is part of New York Public Library System. Interesting. Okay. National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. That looks incredible. The Stromberg Center of Research in Black Culture, okay, another Harlem jewel, has over 1,000 collections and is part of the New York Public Library System. Okay, wonderful. Reginald J.F. Lewis Museum of Maryland, African American History and Culture. This museum offers 82,000 square feet of Maryland history. Beautiful. Incredible, man. It's wonderful to know that your city, and it's a beautiful thing to see that your city cares about preserving the history of our people and what we've done and what your people have done. Really, if you're from these places, these is your folks, what they have done in your local neighborhood. And it's also, I think, valuable to research the history of these libraries and these museums and see who had a hand in making sure that they got established. Who had a hand in making sure that these things that this brick was laid and that these portraits were set up to put something in stone in the community for the people? Because those are the folks who truly care about you and about the Black community. Those who have labored and toiled, sweat, blood, tears, etc., to make sure that the people was going to be straight in the future. That's a beautiful thing. And it's a wonderful sacrifice. All right. Number 5, the Whitney Plantation Museum. Okay. It says this is the only plantation tour in Louisiana. dedicated to centering the personal histories and experiences of enslaved people. Incredible. Incredible. Number 6, the Whitney Plantation Museum. This is the only plantation tour in Louisiana dedicated to centering the personal history and experiences of enslaved people. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, that looked like a legit plantation, y'all. Wow. My goodness. It damn near resembled a jail. And that looked like, like the office of the jail type stuff. Like, that's crazy. Number 7, this is an interesting one. The National Great Blacks in Wax Museum, okay? This unique option presents lifelike historical figures in wax. Very interesting. Apex Museum. This looks interesting as well. This Museum of Black History is located on Atlanta's historic Auburn Avenue. Yeah. Fantastic. Looks like a lot of fun. Number 9, the DuSable Museum of African American History. Okay, originally named the Ebony Museum of Negro History and Art, this cultural institution has been serving the Chicago area for more than 60 years, man. Shout out to Chicago and all the good people from that area, all right? The African American Museum of Philly, man, okay, the Smithsonian affiliated institution houses 4 distinct galleries of Black art and history. If you're from Philly, you're from the area, man, let me know what your thoughts are of this museum. The Museum of African Diaspora, Museum of the African Diaspora. Interesting, okay? San Francisco Museum exhibits contemporary art from artists across the African diaspora. Fantastic. I'm going to have to check that out. The Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. This looks incredible. This Midwestern museum is home to 35,000 artifacts, including rare documents that reflect the role Black people played in Detroit's labor movement. Wow. My. Midwestern Museum. It doesn't give an exact location, but it does mention Midwest. But this is just an incredible looking location. And so I'm sure the inside is also powerful as well. Number 13, we're going to go ahead and skip that. The Trap Museum. 14, Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia. And you damn right I said what I said, and I don't regret it. I'm sorry, man. Like, bruh. Man, I don't even want to get into it, bruh. The Black History Museum and Cultural Center celebrates the accomplishments and legacies of Black Virginians. All right, Virginia, that's where AI and them was from, right? VA. Fantastic. Let's see what's happening here. All right. The New Orleans African American Museum. New Orleans, Louisiana got a lot of museums. This museum is located in the heart of the Southern City's Trim District. Okay. Interesting looking place. Studio Museum in Harlem. All right. This staple of Harlem's culture scene was founded in 1969. Okay. Wonderful. Couple more here. This one is incredible. The National Museum of African American History and Culture, dubbed the Blacksonian. This DC museum attempts to successfully display the past, present, and future of Black Americans. Fantastic, fantastic location. Man, tap in. If you're from DC, tap in. Let me know what you think of this museum. And number 18, the Bronzeville Children's Museum. Okay, can't forget the kids. Get a family-friendly take on Black history at this Chicago facility. So yes, it takes things like this, fam. It takes things like this and taking time to acknowledge your own history, basically to do something to enriching your own self-identity, to keep you from the negative mentalities that so many have about their own people, right? We're talking about self-inflicted wounds, all right? But again, as I said from the beginning, some people thought processes are subconscious and they do not realize that they have all these negative things and the source and origin of all of these negative thoughts that are in their mind. But when you tackle and trace that root and that tree all the way back, it goes back to, in a lot of instances, negative complexes that a lot of Black folks have, proven by the videos that we discussed today. So, hey, again, one more time, shout out to Chloe. Hey, I'm going to say this. I felt that she did a fantastic job. And I'm gonna stop sharing. She did a fantastic job covering the Sade Robinson case. Okay. I think her take was not biased. I think her take really hit the nail on the head, and I appreciated her content. So I wanted to, make this video more or less in response to that question that she asked during that video, concerning that. This is something that we as a people have to go on the offense about, to talk about, to diagnose, and to deal with, so that we can heal our traumas. Because what you saw from them kids today is a sign of trauma. That is a sign of problems. That's a sign that something has happened in the history of this beautiful people to make them feel this way. And it's up to us to change that. Understand that changing that don't mean that the people of this hue, that this Caucasian man that we have to hate them or feel some type of negative. We don't have to feel that. It don't have to be that. This is about us and what we gonna do for us. And it's simple as that. Ain't no hating loving yourself. I'm putting yourself first. Ain't no hating loving yourself. Ain't no hate towards nobody and you loving yourself. So don't let people think that just because you love yourself or you love your blackness or you love your people, that means that you're anti somebody else. No, we're going to call out everybody's nonsense, including our own, starting in our own house. And then we go into other folks' house, knocking on their door with their foolishness as well. Somebody talk to me, because we're not even in position to deal with other people until we first deal with ourselves. Can you hear me? And once we get right within, at least to a decent percentage, then we can start dealing with other issues and going on a bigger, a bigger escapade, so to speak, in terms of making things happen and getting things done. Within the society that includes other people that obviously do not look like us. All right, hey fam. So I would love to hear your comments on this topic of discussion. Appreciate y'all time, and I hope y'all have a fantastic and marvelous Monday. All right, until we chat again, I'm out.